Charisa Munroe again, and I'm here with Gessie Thompson. You just heard her very, very beautiful presentation. Was that amazing? So I thought that this would be a good opportunity to hear even a little more about Gessie and who she is, and there's so much more than that she can say that she hasn't said in her 30-minute constraint. But I also give you the opportunity to ask questions. And I know many of you have questions, so I'm going to talk less on this particular one because I think, Gessie, your message was very powerful. Thank you. And I know a lot of your story. Others don't, so I want to make sure I give them the opportunity. But when we talk about, unfortunately, when we talk about lemons, I think about Beyonce. That's sad, but that's the way it is.
Because of the lemonade, of course.
Exactly. But, you know, that's her story as well. You know, when lemons give you lemon, what are you going to do with it? Right. You're just going to leave it whole, or you're going to make lemonade, or whatever have you. And so, you know, you chose to do so much more with your lemons. And I wasn't expecting those lemons that you showed. Like, those were not...
that was a shock value. You know, I wanted to make sure everybody was awake.
But I think it was a perfect strategy, because we will never forget Gessie's lemons. And she's correct. Everyone's lemons aren't perfectly yellow and round and smooth. And I thank you for your transparency, because some of us have lemons that look worse. And so, you know, everybody's lemons are different, and our journeys are different, but there's still going to be that similar thread, and I talked about it earlier. And so can you talk a little more about those lemons? Again, I say that because I have a few friends myself that have struggled with fibroids. And for some reason, is it just that, and I hear about it more now, so is it just that people are becoming more aware, or is it just becoming a lot more prevalent because of the way the food is and so forth, or whatever the other reasons are?
Okay, so first of all, thank you, because I love to be able to raise more awareness of this issue. Fibroids are smooth muscle tumors that that occur in and around the uterus, and they are 99.9% of the time benign. Now, they can cause symptoms that range from everything, including very painful cycles, very debilitating cramps, to pain where people have to manage it with pain medication, even to the point where some people have to deal with narcotic drugs because the pain is so severe. They can also include, one of the common symptoms is very severe bleeding, all right, that is more hemorrhaging. People think that it's normal for you to bleed the way you bleed. Well, actually, medically, women are only supposed to bleed about 3 tablespoons during their cycle, all right? Now, most women, when I ask them that question, they say that that's not their story. And the reason is because there's a lot, again, the statistic is 90% of black women, but it's up to 70% of women of all ethnicities. So it really is an epidemic. So when you talk about, is it more prevalent, or is it because there's more awareness, I hope that it's more of the awareness because we're doing our job of raising the awareness, because so many women suffer in silence. And I would say families suffer in silence, because I've had men come up to me after my session and say, my wife, my sister, my cousin,
I'm very glad you said that, because with the men in the room, my next question would have been, how does fibroids affect them, the men that love these women?
Well, so number one, they're here to support and stand by women who are suffering. Many times they're losing work time because it literally is crippling. It can cause life debilitating, actually anemia, where anemia is life threatening. And when you have so much blood loss, your blood count drops, and that can cause heart failure. There's also the emotional piece of it, because it's actually caused, which I'm going to talk more about, by estrogen dominance. There is a real driver of, it's an endocrine disruptor that really affects our moods. So men have to deal with these women. It affects their sex lives because, quite frankly, they're not in the mood. They're not physically able. They're in a lot of pain. We have been in a lot of pain. And so it affects you everything from emotionally, and then there's the financial implication because of your careers, how it actually decelerates your careers because a lot of women have to take a lot of time off of work because of it. So men, many times they feel like they just don't know what to do because they're just seeing their women suffer, all right? But it's very important for them to know, number one, the signs. A lot of women don't realize that their bodies are telling them something's wrong. Something's wrong when you have an irregular cycle. Something's wrong. It's not normal, all right? And there's an indicator that the root cause, which is estrogen dominance, and everyone who is here, I highly recommend on that last screen that you please listen to our free teleseminar. This is to educate you. There's on our website, thedetoxnow.com/gift. That's thedetoxnow.com/gift. There are two key things that for women and men to learn from. There's our teleseminar MP3 on fibroids, and then there's our Why Detox webinar for men to understand about the root cause of these inflammatory conditions, because for men, it leads to male pattern baldness. Going back to, what was that thing they wanted us to yeah, exactly. I want to talk to you about the root of that. Yes, bring back the natural hair. Well, deal with the root issue, which is the estrogen dominance. It causes prostate cancer, other inflammatory conditions like diabetes, heart disease, etc. So we need to be educated that the fibroids are actually a symptom. Now, they're treated like they're actually the condition, but they're a symptom. They're a symptom of the root cause, which is estrogen dominance, which is really prevalent and it affects so many things.
So from an analogy standpoint, so I look at fibroids as a crisis.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then you're giving these lemons, what are you going to do with it? So these balls are hitting you, which forces you to do a detox. So, you know, you get these crises and failures and challenges in life, and you realize, okay, so now I'm at a detox stage. I need to get rid of some things, need to change the way I've been doing a few things. So Gessie has this detox program. Her husband and I were talking about it yesterday. And so, how many of you eat meat? Okay, so that's one. No, keep your hands up. We're gonna do a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
I'm in the
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 25. So 25 of us eat meat. Okay. How many of you eat fish only? Only. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Eat fish only. 9. 25 eat meat. Please write these stats down for the room. 25 eat meat. 9 eat fish only. How many of you are vegetarians?
1.
1. Okay. How many of you are vegans? 2.
Oh, Monique
so 2.
Is
hold
two.
on. So there's 3 vegans and there's 1 vegetarian.
Where's Monique?
How many vegetarians? 4 vegetarians.
Oh.
So we have 25 eat meat, 9 eat fish only, 4 vegetarians. How many vegans? 2. And
Well, there's 3. Monique is
3.
2. She's
Okay.
here somewhere.
And even that's a lie. How many? Let me tell you why. I didn't even know there was a what it is?
Vegan? Estrogen
It's
free?
vegan. How many of you are vegan, estrogen free?
Only one in the room.
Okay.
All the way. Well, Mark, he's 80%.
1.5, because Mark is vegan, estrogen free when he's ready. Ish. So there's 25 of us that eat meat. 9 eat fish. 4 is vegetarian. There are no any vegans, plain old normal vegans as we know them. There's no vegans, and then there are 3 vegans, yes, estrogen free. Now I never even heard about vegans estrogen free. Okay,
Yeah,
so
let's talk about
we're going
that.
to talk about this detox program because she was talking to me. So Mark asked me, someone asked me yesterday, are you vegetarian? Oh, no. Are you vegan? No. Well, I'm vegan. Well, I'm actually vegan, estrogen free. Wait a minute. Excuse me. What? So,
Okay.
briefly,
Sure.
let's talk about this detox program.
Absolutely. So, number 1 is understanding that God designed our bodies to heal themselves. Can we all agree to that? Right? Everything that your body needs to actually live in an environment where it maintains abundant life is designed in our bodies. So the premise of what we teach is that food is your medicine. It's your first medicine, okay? So food is your medicine. That means everything that we're eating is either healing or hurting us. There's no, what do you call it, neutral food. It's either doing one thing or another. So what we teach people to do is to actually become the hero in the story of your healing and stop being the accomplice in the story of your disease. Okay? Does that interest you? All right. So if we want to become the hero in the story of our healing, what we're actually doing is saying, okay, I'm going to get out the way. And I'm going to cooperate with what my body needs to actually heal itself. Now, what we teach when we say the food being a plant-based, estrogen-free lifestyle is saying, okay, wait a minute. The culprit, everybody understands that inflammation is tied to what? More than 80, 90% of the diseases that people chronically deal with come from inflammation, okay? Inflammation of respiratory, blood vessels, from, you know, it causes tumors that cause implications on other organs. Inflammation is at the root core of heart disease, diabetes, cancer, tumors such as fibroids, endometriosis, cysts, multiple sclerosis, lupus. So many of the conditions that would, arthritis, are all because inflammation causes pain. It causes, that's dolor. There are different signs of inflammation. But anyway, this is not going to break down inflammation. So what makes it, the reason we use estrogen free is it's really anti-inflammatory. Okay? Because what happens is when estrogen, the body metabolizes estrogen, what it does, and estrogen, let me be clear 1 minute, is not just for women. Men hear estrogen and think, oh, that's not about me. Well, no, that's not true. Estrogen is not actually the true female hormone. Did y'all just hear me? The true female hormone is progesterone. What makes the woman's health, what drives women's health is actually progesterone. You've been taught, how many have been taught it's estrogen? Mm-hmm. Right? Okay. Estrogen is actually an endocrine disruptor. It's a catabolic steroid. What estrogen does is it actually tears and breaks muscle down into fat. Fat, white adipose tissue, stores more estrogen and creates this vicious cycle that now creates inflammation in your body that opens up the door to all kinds of disease. All right? Think about it. If you, as women or men, we're trying to maximize our fitness, do you want something that's going to break your muscle down into fat? Or you want something that's going to actually burn fat and build muscle?
Burn fat and build muscle.
Okay. So you don't want catabolic steroids. You want things that actually are anabolic. They build you up. Progesterone is one of those. Testosterone is one of those. All right? So what we've identified is, wait a minute, when we remove the estrogen out of the lifestyle and we use foods that actually, and lifestyle practices that build up your body, that disease cannot live in those conditions. Because now the inflammation that was actually causing these, triggering these diseases is no longer present. Got me? So for instance, when I talk about, there were two things. I spoke about the woman who on our program eliminated 50 fibroids. She had 57 fibroids when she started our program. Her name is Annalise Henry. MRI documented. She started the program, I mean, literally she felt like, I am so hopeless, I will do anything. She was like, I will eat fire. In fact, her testimony is on our website. She did it on our recent Breakfast Club interview. If you want to hear it in full, I won't give you that. It's right at the detoxnow.com/media, or just the detoxnow.com. So the critical thing is that once she eliminated it, because the triggers of estrogen dominance are stress, diet, and pollutants. Stress is the way your body's totally pumped through with cortisol every day by the way you process your stress, by the way you process pressure, okay? That's why stopping, taking time to rest, exercising, getting proper sleep, changing the way that we deal with people, eliminating toxic people from our lifestyles, creating distance in those relationships, that's a very important part of our health, as well as the foods, eliminating foods that are estrogenic. examples of foods that are estrogenic. People think, oh, as long as you're eating a plant-based diet, that's okay. I was just talking to Monique about that. But did you know that foods like carrots are estrogenic? Did you know that foods like mushrooms are estrogenic? You didn't know, right? Well, guess what? Most of what's taught out there is that it doesn't matter, just what's taught as healthy, when we literally change and actually help you educate and make you aware of what foods are actually anti-inflammatory, your body now your liver starts to be able to do its job. Your body is able to produce healthy red blood cells that are producing healthy red tissue. You no longer deal with weight issues because your body literally just drops it off. Because estrogen, one of the signs that you're estrogen dominant is that fat that you can't get rid of. You ever work out so hard and you're like, wait a minute, but there's that fat I just can't get rid of?
Yes.
That is a sign of estrogen dominance, because it's fat that's not really fat that burns off. It actually has to be detoxed. It's actually inflammation. Ah.
Wait a minute. Let's process that.
There's interest now.
Because I got 15 pounds that I cannot get rid of.
That's why. It's inflammation. It's the difference between inflammation and weight. See? You ever hear, there are so many people who they're like, oh my God, I work out every day. I work out I'm not eating. I don't know what's going on. Well, the problem is that you have an inflammatory lifestyle. So your body cannot break that down because of the inflammation. You're not going to lose it by exercise. You're going to lose it by actually detoxing, so that your liver, what's happened is your liver has become overrun. Your liver's job, it's the master organ, and its job is actually to process toxins out of your body and distribute all of the proper nutrients to your other organs so that they can do their job. Now, when your body starts to slow down, we say, oh, I was never allergic to that when I was younger. I used to be able to do all of that when I was younger. Well, guess what? Your liver, over time, becomes overrun. And your liver can only process so much now. It's become compromised to the point where it's like, you know what? I just can't anymore. I can't do this anymore. Now you're starting to feel, I'm lactose intolerant. No, you weren't lactose intolerant. Now you never were supposed to be processing cow's milk because your body was not designed to. But because your liver was more effective before, it was able to eliminate those toxins, where now it's become bogged down. Does that make sense?
Put this in perspective.
Sure.
So we talked about all of this. So I'm like, so what do we eat? What in the world can I eat now then?
So you eat wild fruits and vegetables.
Okay, she says that, right? Eat fruits.
Wait.
So I'm like, I eat fruits now.
No, but you probably eat fruits that are inflammatory.
So I can't eat apple, I can't
I'm going
eat
to give
strawberry.
you an example.
And I'm like, wait a moment.
No. Listen, let me give you an example. So seedless fruits. How many understand seedless is actually genetically modified? You know God did not put it on the earth without a seed, right? Okay. So I did an example the other day. My sister brought home seedless watermelon, okay? Now, people think it's the best thing since sliced bread. So I had a taste of the seedless watermelon. Now, it was sweet, but within minutes, my ears started to clog up, my glands started to swell up under my here, and my head started to hurt. Now, that you probably don't have that experience because your toxin level is high, so your body is not going to affect it. See what I'm saying? But when you are living a life where you've detoxed and your body is now very sensitive to toxins, when you introduce it, your body's like, get that out of here, okay? So at the same day, I had seeded watermelon, black seeded, not the white seeds. The black seeds are seeded, okay? And I went to the bathroom within 30 minutes. My body was like, it's water-based, it's healthy, I had no negative side effects. Why? Because that's electrifying your body. When we eat foods that are inflammatory, your body has to slow down like this to try to... You know the itis? You know what the itis is about? It's shutting down your body because your digestive system has to work so hard to try to eliminate the toxins and digest it. And your body can't digest so many of the things that are in there that it ends up just storing it as fat because it doesn't know what else to do with it. Your body doesn't know what else to do with it, so it just literally stores it as fat. So the reason your body has to shut down, you get sleepy because it's saying, All right, put the put the do not disturb sign outside the door. We have to shut everything down. You know that under construction on the website? Mm-hmm. We have to shut everything down in order for this to operate, to try to do something here. But when we eat electric foods, your body's like, whoo, yes, more energized, you're thriving. So that's an example. So wild fruits and vegetables that are non-hybrid, meaning they're not hybrid plants or foods that are they're hybridized. They're created when you blend two different things, like a peach.
He said, oh, come on. Now, how is a peach a hybrid?
Well, because it's a mixture of two different fruits. It's not an original fruit, but it's man-made. That there are man-made hybrids and there are good hybrids. I know Georgia people, y'all stressing right now. See, look at Georgia people. But I'm going to tell you the difference. Once you start to actually eat wild fruits and vegetables, your body completely starts to now, pains that you used to have, you don't have anymore. We've had people literally get off high blood pressure medication, high cholesterol, hernias completely disappear, lupus symptoms completely disappear, reverse. Why? Because your body can say, oh, now I can focus on healing. Because your digestive system is a critical part of your body healing itself. Your digestive system is the excretory system that now is a part of your body saying, okay, let's get rid of tumors. Let's attack the things that are in the body that's foreign, that is not serving the health. But it can't do that when it's overrun with things that are causing it to have to shut down.
So there's so much about this detoxing that when I bring it to life perspective, it's the same principle. You know, she talked about getting rid of things that are harmful to us, that are not healing. And then the inflammatory principle that she talked about. So the inflammatory thing that I did in life yesterday, when she's telling me this, she's telling me, eat these type of food, and if you do, you do this, it's going to happen, and these are the kind of foods. And I immediately said to her, I can't do that. I'm too busy. I don't have enough time. And if I have to prepare it, it's not going to get done. My exact words to her. If someone prepares it for me, I'll eat it, I'll do whatever. But if I have to do it, and she's like, why? I said, I don't have the time, I'm too busy. And she says, why? And I'm like, because I'm always on the go. And she's literally looking at me like, why? And so then she said to me, for Gessie, it's important to her because what she has been through. She said everybody else that's on it, it's important to them because of what they've been through, the disease, the condition. She said it's not important to you because you ain't going through nothing. She said, so what you should do is think precautionary. Do it before it happens. Don't try and solve the problem when you know the problem is coming. And so that's like what I said. If you know a crisis is coming, if you know and have the knowledge that, okay, this can be the possibility of a crisis happening, catch it before it happens.
That's right.
Dodge it even, actually, it's more of a dodging it before it happens. And so even with talking now, in my mind, I'm like, dang, now I gotta do something about it. But that's what MEL is all about, so she's igniting this inflammatory thing that I have created with a whole bunch of excuses. And once you have the knowledge, it's like we're stuck with, okay, what are you going to do with it? And so, Jess, I'm going to open it up for questions.
Yes.
Please. Yes, good. So if you have questions, there's 2 mics on left and right, and we will start with those. She ready? Introduce yourself and then.
I don't know if it's on.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, my name is Carol Knight. So are you telling me that I can't eat meat? I shouldn't eat meat? Meat's not good?
What I would say to you is...
hold on, I got another question. So what about the organic meat?
Say that what?
What about...
Organic meat doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
But what I was going to say to you is this. Number one is this. Focus on first detoxing, right?
Okay.
And then, because you have to get your body in a place where it's actually able to do what God designed it to do. Okay? And then you can really design your own health plan, all right, in terms of, your meal plan. But when somebody has a condition, what we say to you is understand that there are foods, it's like you walk after the spirit, you don't have to worry about fulfilling the lust of the flesh. Okay. Focus on eating the things that actually are going to bring you health. Okay. Once you start doing that, everything else changes. See what I'm saying? So I don't sit there and tell people, I'll tell you what I eat. I eat a plant-based diet, and it's of wild fruits and vegetables, and I can tell you that my life has changed because of it, okay? And if you have a condition of any sort, I would recommend that you look at these things, at these specific plans, because understand your body is telling you by virtue of the way it responds to what you're putting in it. See what I'm saying?
Yes.
Inflammation happens by virtue of the fact that when we eat things that cause inflammation, we're an accomplice.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So organic, that means nothing.
So
Are you saying it's individual?
we don't recommend meat. No,
No
we don't
meat.
recommend meat. No.
Okay. I'm not a great big eater of meat, but I do eat meat.
Mm-hmm.
What about when they say you need protein?
You don't, first of all, protein, I'm going to ask you a question. Where does the elephant get his protein? Where does the rhinoceros get his protein?
Is it
where does the
grass? Is it
gorilla get his protein?
Okay.
It's plants.
It's plants.
So some of the largest, most powerful animals that we know of get protein from plants.
We're humans. But we're humans.
But I'm a human. I ain't concerned about the animal.
What I'm trying to tell you is, no, this is your body will never be protein deficient.
It will not be, okay.
Your body will never be protein deficient because your body, the way your body operates, it gets protein from everything. And there are huge sources of protein in plants. For instance, beans. For instance, quinoa. For instance, not eggs. For instance,
what about eggs? Because it's meat.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
For instance, quinoa. For instance,
we can't.
not
eat
just
eggs.
that. For instance, hemp seeds. For instance,
I know,
nuts.
But when you start on this, you definitely will go through a transition because doesn't your metabolism go down because...
No, let me tell you something. There are people who have done our program and they felt like, oh my God, I feel I'm about to, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. I'm going to pass out. And they're like, when they do it, they're like, oh my God, I have more energy than I've ever had.
Okay.
Because part of what slows you down, you don't realize, your body is breaking down in the digestive process. It's slowing you down. Pains, it's slowing you down specifically with your body just trying to digest everything that it's not built to design to actually process. See, I'm gonna do a Dr. Miles thing. I'm gonna take you back to the garden.
Okay.
Okay? In the garden, what did God tell us to eat?
The earth, all the...
Go ahead, you answer that question, Charisa.
Everything in everything.
Fruit of the tree, fruit of the tree, fruit of the trees, plants of the earth, right? And what did he tell the animals to eat? Did they eat us?
No,
they ate the same.
They ate the same thing.
So if we just go back to the garden as our dad taught us, we're just going back to the way he designed our bodies to optimally operate. Okay? That's what we're going back to. What is it that our bodies were designed, how was it supposed to optimally function? Right? Now when you look at that, all the energy, all of the libido, the strength that your body is actually designed, it will now become unleashed. That's why we say unleash your power to heal. Okay. Because much of what slows us down is our lifestyle.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you very much.
But walk before you can run, step by step.
TheDetoxNow.com. Charisa?
Hey, Gessie. So my question is, eating healthy is not affordable in certain countries. What is your take on that? How do we afford to eat healthy if we are unable to?
Well, you say in certain countries. Actually, most countries, when you go outside of the U.S., they have things that are wild grown. And organic does not make it healthy, specifically.
Well, specifically in countries like the Bahamas and through the Caribbean.
Right, but there are things that are organically grown. When I say natively grown there, specifically, and then also you can tell if something, it doesn't have to have the organic label. What you want to do is make sure it's not ridden with pesticides. And you can test that at home simply by taking a piece of fruit or vegetable, putting it in a mason jar, sealing it, okay, and watching it for 72 hours. Now, if it becomes white and fuzzy, then it has pesticides on it. It's not organic, all right? If it starts to just brown and wither, then it's actually organic, and that means it's grown without pesticides. The important part of pesticides is that pesticides, our bodies metabolize pesticides through a process called aromatization into estrogen. And estrogen metabolizes into our bodies as a carcinogen, okay? So again, the goal is to remove the estrogen out of the lifestyle. Now, when you actually, again, you test the foods for yourself, you can see. You ever see food when it starts to get fuzzy, like it has hair on it? Yeah. That means it's got pesticides on it. Ugh. Okay? Now, you can take an extra step and wash it off with spring water, with a brush, with spring water and natural baking soda, okay? You scrub it off with that, and then test that, and see, like, for instance, fruits like cantaloupe, melon, pineapples, they actually have such a hard exterior that they don't have to be organic. And the meat from those fruits are actually well preserved from the pesticides. But when you go to fruits like, you know, apples and black-seeded grapes and, you know, greens like lettuces and berries.
When they teach us from elementary, an apple a day, keep a doctor away.
Well, a red delicious apple, the original wild apple is the dark red apple. The hybrids are Granny Smiths, the green apples, the orangey-looking apples.
Green apple is the best.
But guess what? Guess what? When you look at what your body, how it metabolizes it, it's about what it causes. Is it healing or is it hurting? And let me tell you the other thing about hybrids that's important. Many people don't realize that hybridization, many times they use bacteria that's very harmful to us in the hybridization process, such as spinach. Spinach is a very popular vegetable, but it's actually a hybrid that was formed with E. coli. So it's very toxic. It's toxic to our bodies.
My mind is being blown.
Boom! Just like that air you wanted us to catch yesterday. Yes, sir?
I'll take your question, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, he wants her to go first.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Desney. I have two questions. So, in regards to someone who is vegetarian and then someone who eats meat, lots of the meat substitutes that they have are like soy-based. So, would you say like they're either the same in harm, or is it worse to do the soy-based stuff than?
Soy is there's a very high toxin, right? So the reason, again, what we want, and everyone, there's a free food list on our website. It's an anti-inflammatory food list at thedetoxnow.com/gift, all right? Our goal is to educate you so you know, okay, what foods heal me, what foods hurt me. Because there's a money-making business out there about all these kinds of, oh, you can get vegan Oreos and, you know, vegan, you know, all these other things. And it's really just become a business and not about specifically foods that heal you, okay? Soybeans is one of the highest toxins that increase your estrogen levels, where, unfortunately, again, people don't realize they're getting sicker. They're like, wait a minute, I went vegetarian, but they're eating seitan, they're eating tempeh, they're eating all these things that are not healthy, whereas you can eat nut meat like walnuts, you can eat coconut meat, you can eat jackfruit, which is one of the best things you can eat is jackfruit. It's wonderful for you. See what I'm saying?
Well, then,
okay, Mark.
Yeah. That kind of answers my second question, because I was going to ask, like, people who want to transition, so you would just skip that whole meat substitute thing and then just...
I would see, the reason is because you start to not realize that you're looking for training wheels. And everybody has their process and they take their time. I just wouldn't substitute with things that are so highly toxic. Okay. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can start, what I say to people is, start by change your breakfast, okay? Your breakfast is one of the most important meals. You were taught you need a heavy breakfast. Well, guess what? Your body goes through 3 circadian rhythms. From 4 a.m. to 12 p.m., your body is in elimination mode, okay? It's trying to eliminate all the toxins that your body has consumed throughout the day and that it's processed and trying to get rid of. So that is the time where people have breakfast from 4 a.m. to 12 p.m., right? Well, guess what? That is a period where we need to actually fast. Really? So you want to eat nothing to, you can have water, or you can have water-based fruits during that time. And you will find by making that change, number one, your bowel movements will be more regular. Slow, irregular bowel movements are a sign that your gut is dealing with an issue, and your gut is actually the source. It's where disease starts, is in the gut, okay? So when we have regular, nice, fluffy, banana-like bowel movements, that means that your body is doing a good job of eliminating the toxin. It's actually trying to eliminate the toxins. So from noon, from 4 a.m. to noon, we should be looking at eating things that are water-based. Water-based fruits include cantaloupe, honeydew, watermelon, mangoes, avocados, grapefruits, pink grapefruits, blood oranges, kiwi. Those are a lot of options I just gave you.
Okay,
Black-seeded grapes.
What else can I have?
All of that. That's great. You
Okay,
can have
fruit.
quinoa. You can have
I
amaranth.
need protein and carb.
So number one, you can have quinoa. You can have quinoa flakes. You can have amaranth. You can have fonio. You can have millet.
Wait a minute.
See,
Okay.
now wait a minute. These are things that, seriously, fonio tastes like grits and it's delicious.
I've never
and
heard
it's
of these things before.
Of course you didn't, because they want to market things that make you sick.
Okay, 1 second. Doesn't a question.
Anyway, so
answer?
going back to you, if you start by changing one meal a day. I'm trying to give you guys steps because you feel overwhelmed. That's why I say watch the webinar, get the free food list, and just start to make substitutions, right? That's a very important meal. From noon to 8 p.m., your body is now absorbing calories, absorbing your nutrients. That's called the appropriation cycle, okay? And your body, you're going to have your heaviest meals during that time frame. And then from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m., your body's going through assimilation. This is why your sleep is so important. You heal while you sleep. You heal while you sleep. That means no lights, no TV, no phones going off. Don't fall asleep with your computer in your lap. Turn off the lights. You need to be in complete darkness, complete silence, so that your melatonin cycle can now allow you to have real rest, where you get into that REM sleep, you know, that paralytic sleep they talk about. That's where your body shuts down and actually starts to heal and regenerate. All right?
So this is why Mark must get 8 hours of sleep. Remember he talked about 8 hours yesterday? Yes. Come on,
8 hours, very important.
Okay, so we have 0 minutes and 3 questions.
Oh.
So go ahead.
Sorry.
Okay, my name is Pastor Darrell Knight from Phoenix, Arizona. And I will never forget when Dr. Miles came to Phoenix, it was about 2005 or so. He said, "Oh my God, I have never seen so many places to eat."
Yeah.
You know, we got a McDonald's, Taco Bell, just everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you look at TV, you see burgers, you see fries, you see this and you see that. So my first question is, how do you deal with the mental bombardment of eating this garbage in the first place? Mm-hmm. And my next question is detox. Now, when I first heard the word detox, it was after I met my lovely wife. I have no clue what that means. So, you know, it's suggestive that you need to get rid of some stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I went and bought this box that says detox with these pills and so I need to know what is a real detox, because I'm carrying a load of stuff that I don't need. And about 90% of Americans is dealing with this. So this thing is truly epidemic.
Okay, so your 2 questions. Number 1 is when you realize you're born again, right?
Yes.
So guess what? Narrow is the road to abundance, living in healthy living, eternal life. It narrows the road to healthy living, okay? And I say that because once you set your mind and you understand, wait a minute, the things that lead to health and abundance are less popular, they are more expensive, and they're less accessible. It's the same way with our life in God. It really is about, first of all, shifting your mind and deciding, you know what, I am going to prioritize my health because I have to be here to live out my purpose. So I focus on the things that I can eat. I don't worry about, it's like, am I going to turn around and say, oh, I can't lie anymore? No, I'm going to focus on the things I can do. I can enjoy. What can I enjoy? So it's the same principle, all right? Second thing, when it comes to detox, what you want is detox that focuses on actually changing your health, not about losing weight. Detox to actually expel toxins and empower you to live a lifestyle of healing. Our focus of our program, the Detox Now, is specifically empowering you to live after the detox so that you understand my healing actually comes from my lifestyle. Okay?
So detox is constant.
Constant,
permanent.
yeah.
Perfect.
Yes.
Gene?
Yes, my name is Gene Claire. A couple of things. Everything she's saying is 100% true. I work in the food business, and we will sell you whatever you want to buy. So, and to that point, if you start buying more healthy things, we will start to sell you more of that. We'll make sure. There's a lot of videos and articles and stuff like this about this. So it's all about the effort that you put in is what you get out of it. So I would say that. But my question is around baby food, like feeding our kid.
Baby food?
Yeah, so I have a 19-month-old.
It's great.
And it's a challenge. Right now his diet is mainly yogurt, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, grilled cheese and milk.
Struggle is real, brother. The struggle is real.
So those are the things that he would eat. And if you read some articles about like baby food, like even just in general, you think about your kid and how kind of delicate they are, and then you go and buy them food that's
and resistant.
Then you go look and buy their food, and all their food is shelf-stable food that is in jars and can stay there for years. Yeah. How do you kind of begin to introduce infants and young kids into that diet, and what do you do when they don't eat this stuff?
Infants are actually easier. You know, I started with a 4-year-old, and it's harder because she had a palate that was developed already. But I would say number one is to start making substitutions. Really, you're setting the path. You're saying, you know what, we're changing this so that we're focusing on life and health, right? There's things, butternut squash is awesome. Cantaloupe is awesome. Mango is awesome. Fonio is awesome. Like, the things about it is actually making substitutions. Number one, when you learn, like I said, download the free food list and you start to learning what's good for you yourself. Yep. You can prepare the food for your kid, you know, seasoning and everything, where at 19 months...
Seasoning as well?
Yes, pink salt, black pepper. I mean, there are great seasonings. In fact, most spices, rosemary and thyme and basil and cumin and ginger, oh, phenomenal. You know, turmeric and cayenne. You don't put cayenne in the baby's food, but... maybe a little bit. But the point is that all of these things are wonderfully healthy, all right? And when you start to prepare foods for your child now, they'll adapt. Trust me, this is the most adaptable age. We end up giving them things because, I mean, the world out there, there's all kinds of things that they will get exposed to, but they're at your home right now. And really, it's a shift. Once you make the shift, kids will love fruit. Like, I'm going to give you an example. I started with my daughter. Every morning she has cantaloupe. Cantaloupe is like one of the best things, or honeydew, she can have any time of the day, all day. So she has to have cantaloupe. She has to have honeydew. Now I started to introduce black-seeded watermelon. She's fighting me, but now she's like, okay, I'll have it. You know, she's fighting me with that. So I started to do that. I also changed her chips to the blue, organic blue corn tortillas by a lot of different brands make them. But instead, they're good tasting chips. There's purple chips and there's blue chips. The blue corn is native corn. It's actually better for you than all of that white stuff and yellow stuff. Understand? So by making substitutions, at first she resisted, but then she was like, oh, can I have some blue corn chips, please? Oh, can let me have the cantaloupe, you know? And as you start to become solidified yourself, your child will come along. Because you will not give them any other option.
And we've seen some incremental, like some improvement in what he eats, because we do stuff like vegan days. So we're probably never going to be vegan. But we'll give it our best shot, and when we know...
Unless you had a crisis.
When we know better, we'll do better. Like, so... I know better, and I do better. Like, but there's still some components that I know that I just can't get over that.
There's some toxins that you want to keep in your
pocket. Over time, we'll get there over time. Right now, we have 2 vegan days a week. we'll go to 3 in maybe a few years. But we're trying and we're learning, and I think this is definitely a journey. So
it's a journey. It's a journey.
And I think it's really critical with what you feed your kids and all the stuff that you said. So thank you.
Thank you, Eugene. It is definitely a journey.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, I'm unable to take, because of time constraints, take the last 2 questions. But Gessie will be available for the rest of the day. Because we must move on to the next MEL talk. But Gessie, thank you so much for the information, the knowledge. I'm sure everybody has enjoyed that. Thank you.